Hello. So today we're gonna go over the F chord, that dreaded F chord. See it in a song. Let's pick a new song. Right, but we need to get it done. I had troubles with this when I was a kid learning to play. I see it all the time. Everybody struggles to play this chord. It's a nightmare. So I've even wrote myself a list of things that we can do today, just to get loads of different ways to play this F chord. So, start with a very basic one, which would be an F7. It's got a sort of jazzy edge to this one, but it's generally a little bit easier to play, and it's going to be a 4-string chord. And our first finger is going to go onto the 2nd string, 1st fret. Then our 2nd finger onto the 3rd string, 2nd fret, and then our 3rd finger onto the 4th string, 3rd fret. And we're going to leave this 1st string open. So to do this, we're going to have to push this hand forward, so like our knuckle joints are in front of our guitar neck, not hiding behind the guitar neck. If your hand's like that behind, your fingers are going to be too shallow, and you're going to get all the noises coming through this, and that's one of the frustrating things about playing this F chord. It's just your left hand position, and once you crack it, it should be fairly easy to do. So part of it is just by having, and I like to think of it as thumb tip and fingertips to start with. As we get better and more comfortable with this, things might change. You might end up with your thumb up in the air or something like that, and more of your hand touching the guitar. But for now, just thumb tip and fingertips on the guitar. So you can hear all 4 notes. We're going to hear that jazzy 7th on the last note here. So start on the 4th string. Yeah. Quite smooth sound there. Right. Now, to give ourselves a little bit of room on this chord, our 3rd finger, I just pushed it slightly towards the 5th string, so I'm just touching the 5th string with my finger, with my 3rd finger. It's not pushing it down, it's just pushing against it, and it's just giving the 3rd string a little bit more room. So if I put it further down and it's catching that 3rd string, you get that buzz. So just need to put it across just a little bit. So feeling the back of your fingers for little buzzes and vibrations on these chords is a big help, yeah. Because if you can think about it and feel the little string vibrations on the back of your finger, then that's what's causing the buzz to happen. So if we can just shimmy it across just a little bit towards that 5th string, we've got no buzzers in that then. And the same goes for the 2nd finger. It won't matter if it's touching the 4th string because it's behind your 3rd finger. So it doesn't matter that it's up there touching against the 4th string because you're pushing it down on the 3rd fret, not the 2nd. So it'll not affect the sound of the 4th string. So don't be scared to touch the 4th string with your 2nd finger. Yeah. And then and it's giving your 2nd string quite a bit of room there. So that one's not buzzing. And then same again with your 1st finger. My fingernail is touching against the 3rd string on the 1st fret. It's not pushing it down, it's just touching against the side of it, and it's giving that 1st string a lot more room to play, yeah? So all my fingers are kind of touching 2 strings there. They're pushing the string down that we want to be pushing down, and they're lent up against the side of the next string up, yeah? This can help as well if we're playing like a strummy pattern in a song. If we're getting a bit carried away with our right arm, which is fine, because that's what we do, and we pick the 5th string, it's dead, and it makes no big difference to that, yeah? So there's an F7, maybe one of the first F chords that we ever learned. Now to get to this awkward F chord, and we dread this part of dropping that 1st finger flat, so that we get the 1st fret of our 1st string. So we get that exactly same as the F7, except the 1st fret of the 1st string as well. Now if if you've got that chord on nice and you can play that F7 nice and it feels comfortable and you shouldn't have much of a bend in your wrist anywhere. It should be nice and straight. So you can see how my guitar neck is sticking it out away from me, rather than being like that, flat against your body, which can work, but you can see I'm already in an awkward position by doing that. So just putting it out nice and straight. My arm is actually in line with my leg there, keeping it all nice and comfortable, nice and relaxed. My shoulders not putting under any tensions, my wrist not under any pressure. Any pressure on your wrist, guys, we need to get rid of that by changing our position of our left arm and hand. Yeah, and it is usually, there goes my pick, and it is usually an elbow movement or a shoulder movement that helps that in or out, depending on the size of our bodies and our arms and all those other things. Right, okay, so just to get that first F7 chord on, and keeping that hand, remember these knuckles, and you see how my little finger knuckle is sticking all the way out here past my guitar. It's not bent in, yeah, it's nice and straight. So I've got like this angle and my fingers are facing my face. Right, and that's a good tip. Is you want your fingers on this angle for these kind of chords to face you, rather than facing up there. You want it to face towards you to make these nice chord changes nice and easy, yeah? With no strains or pressures on your hands and wrists. Because long term, if you're starting to play this from a young age, or even later on in life, you can start to get serious injuries in your wrists and carpal tunnel and things like that. Just from playing a guitar, which I always think is a bit crazy. That you can damage yourself by just playing something wrong. So although it might feel awkward at first because your hands have never done this before, and I sometimes, if I'm teaching a lefty, hold the guitar the other way around and have a go with that hand, and I can feel straight away how awkward it is to get that feeling, to get that position on that right hand, and the urge to want to just cheat and twist my wrist just to make it work or something, yeah? So yeah, we need to avoid that, and you can see once it's right, it's nice and simple, yeah? Right, okay, so from the F7, we're just going to push our wrist at the back, just push it up towards the guitar a little bit, but we still want to just try and get fingertips and thumb tip on the guitar, nothing else touching down here, yeah? We should get a nice clean sound, so have that a go as a practice. If you're really struggling with that third finger, just take it off for a while and try it with 3 strings, yeah? And really get that arch in there. If we've got this kind of shape where we've got this joint here in our finger bent that way, that's wrong. It wants to be bent that way, okay? Any of these chords, yeah? Nice bends. Lots of room underneath to get stuff through, yeah? To bridge over the strings. Right, okay, now we'll go to a 5-string version of this F. So we're going to replace our third finger on our 4th string, 3rd fret, and we're going to put our 4th finger there instead of our 3rd, okay? It's still the same chord, but then what we're going to do with our 3rd finger is we're going to put that on the 3rd fret of our 5th string. Again, still maintaining a gap down here with fingertips and thumb tip, yeah? Now, that should be quite good. Now your 3rd finger now, my 3rd finger is pressed up against the 6th string, again. So I can strum them chords, yeah? And that string should be quite dead then, so it's not ringing through and causing any unwanted notes happening there, yeah? Right, so have a go at that one. Then once you've cracked the 3 string and the 4th string, then it's the 5 string time. And then we're gonna get to the full bar chord, the part that none of us like. And the F chord as well is probably the hardest one because the frets are so big at this end of the guitar. Down there, 7th fret bar chord becomes a little bit of an easier task because the frets are a bit smaller. We don't need to stretch out as much. I certainly feel it if I'm playing an F chord for a while. All this part of my hand down here starts to get a bit tender, like I've been in the gym for a while, and we don't want that all the time. So another tip here then is don't hold the pressure on while you're trying it. Just get things in place and then apply the pressure, okay? rather than trying to get the bar on and then squeezing while you're trying to get all the other fingers in place. And you'll find that you're working your hand a bit too hard there. So we're going to get everything in place nice and gently first before we apply any kind of pressure here. Right. So we'll start off straight into the full bar chord. We kind of want, rather than being, again, pointing our finger up to the sky, we kind of want that angle facing our faces a little bit, yeah? I've read it in books where it says to face your shoulder or something, but it kind of faces your face, so I prefer that. Right, so, and we kind of want just to lean it, and we don't want it on the side of our finger, but just to put the pressure towards the side of our finger, yeah? The outside of that finger, right? Okay, and you can see straight away that my finger goes across the fret at an angle. It's not straight against the bar, it's across the angle, yeah? And that'll help quite a lot. Now, another thing I've read about this is people say you shouldn't need your thumb to press down this chord. If you pull the guitar in with your finger and with this right arm, because it pulls the back out, use your elbow to pull the guitar, to pull the neck that way. So you're kind of counterbalancing your weight, yeah? And then that should still get that sound from the guitar. And then you can apply your thumb, and then you're not squeezing too hard. It's quite nice and comfortable then, yeah? You're kind of sharing the load of that really tight squeeze on the bar between your whole body, yeah? Rather than just squeezing the guitar to death. You can pull both ways, squeeze with your thumb a little bit, and then there's a lot less pressure happening there. This does change a little bit when we're standing up or in different sitting positions, but generally it sort of helps all around, yeah? Right, okay, so try and get that first finger just slightly to the side, slightly on the side of it, slightly on the angle across the fretboard, and just get all 6 strings ringing like that, yeah? And then we'll add our second finger, which is not very melodic just yet, but we're building it, yeah? And again, you can push that second finger close to your 4th string, so it's not getting in the way of that second, and we're not getting that happening on the second, yeah? And any time I come across a new chord, and I do, and we all do, we come across something like E flat adds 6 over 9 sharp 5 or something silly, whatever, yeah? So, and then we're like, what the hell's that chord? We figure it out and we work it out, and then I'll just play each single individual note, just to make sure that I can hear all the notes of that particularly awkward chord or this new chord that I've not seen before. So same with the F chord here, we're going to play each note individual, and we should get them all ringing through nice and comfortably. Then we'll add that pinky to the 4th string, 3rd fret. And then that 3rd finger to the 5th string, 3rd fret. Yeah, and if your hand's starting to hurt already, just let it relax while we're not playing it. And that should help getting that F chord on. And again, remember the knuckles on this side of the guitar neck, not back here, twisting round and facing straight up to the sky. Should be arm straight with your guitar, yeah? Fingers pointing at this angle from your neck, yeah? And then it should just come across. And you'll see that it's no big stretch, there's no awkward gaps in my fingers. All my fingers are quite tightly bunched together there, just to make this nice easy chord. I hope that helps. There are a couple of ways we can play this F that, if you're really struggling, if you've got particularly fat fingers, or which I don't think is a massive problem for the most part. If you look at somebody like Segovia, who had giant bunches of bananas for hands, and probably one of the greatest guitar players of all time, he had no trouble playing chords like this. So I never see it really as an excuse. I mean, it's nice to see someone like Paul Gilbert with spiders for fingers play some of these chords, because they're nice and thin and they can fit over strings and they're not getting in the way of each other, and it must be nice. But I haven't got that. I've not got big long fingers. But we make it work our way. So a couple of ways kind of to cheat on this. We can play the D major chord, if we know that chord. Now if we move that down, so that we're on 5, 6, 5. We've got an F chord there as well, yeah? So you could go to that F chord if you're really struggling, and we can all play a D chord. It's one of the easiest ones, yeah? Or we could play a 5 chord. If we want to rock it up a little bit, we could play the 5 chord, which would be the 1st fret on the 6th string and the 3rd fret on the 5th string. And if you're feeling comfortable with the 5 chord and you can get that pinky onto the 4th string, we've got a 3-string chord. Now if you're keeping that finger fairly flat so that we've got that happening, if you just apply a bit more pressure and add that 2nd finger, got the F bar chord. Yeah, so it's just another way round of building the F bar chord. So I know this is a long video for playing one chord, but this one is one of the harder chords that we're ever going to learn, especially from a beginner standard, from playing the simple F chord, the F7, 4 string, 5 string, 6 string, we've got that F, we've got that F, yeah. So just remember all those things. You can watch this video a million times for me, and don't beat yourself up too much over a couple of little buzzers. It's not quite sounding right or something, yeah. It's quite hard to do to make it not sound right after all these years. But yeah, don't beat yourself up too much of it. It's be more into the flow of changing from whatever C to F to G, whatever. So you're hitting the time of the music rather than being perfectionist on the sound of the chord. Because all these open chords, we're going to play them from one song to the next. They're everywhere. So don't beat yourself up over it not quite sounding right, because 6 months time you've done all that practice from chord changing from this chord to another chord, it'll get better each time, and that's just practice. So rather than spending hours and hours and hours and feeling like you're getting nowhere, just play the song, even if the F chord's a little bit duff in places, yeah, it'll get there. And so don't worry too much about that. But yeah, none of us really like it when we first start learning it, but it becomes a thing. I still don't like the full bar chord on the F, because if you're playing a song that's got it all over the place, it does start to wear your hand out quite quick. So a few minutes of playing that. Right, thank you very much. Hope you find that useful and let me know. Thanks. Bye.